Dedicated, straightforward Seattle news coverage. Cairo 7 Eyewitness News continues.
We're on breaking news. All runways at SeaTac are closed. Also hearing from Alaska Airlines that this freezing rain is disrupting their operations. Flights are canceled between Seattle and Alaska and California until 10 a.m.
Frozen streets posing problems for drivers out there as well this morning. Our traffic team has you covered, finding all of the icy spots. And they're everywhere. Today's Thursday, January 19th. I'm Chris Eggert.
And I'm Julie Francavella. We also have Cairo 7 crews fanned out across the area, getting a feel for the roads as this icy commute builds.
First, let's get over to meteorologist Sam Argier, who is tracking this freezing rain.
Yeah, Chris, most areas below freezing around Puget Sound. So usually when we see a snow event like yesterday, that keeps that snow compact ice around. But the case today, we are adding more ice on top of that. But first, let's get over to the roads this morning. Jenny Hogan all over it in the traffic center.
Yes, first thing is very dangerous out there, really icy, numerous spin outs. I do have other alerts to tell you about too, but I just want to make sure you know how dangerous it is as you make your decision to leave your house. Stay with us. We'll keep you safe out there. Weather and traffic every 10 minutes.
Cairo 7, the first station to break the news that SeaTac Airport, all runways are closed. Once we found out about that, we dispatched Cairo 7 Eyewitness News reporter Jeff Du Bois to the airport. Jeff, what can you tell us?
Chris will show you specifically why they're having problems here at SeaTac Airport with freezing rain. Take a look at the front of our car, and the hood is completely covered with a layer of ice. This is just from driving around this morning with that rain and then turning to ice. And take a look at our antenna. It's covered with ice. Side mirror, too. Take a look at this. All ice, so you can understand why the runways, all three runways here at SeaTac Airport are closed. Also having problems with some of the aircraft themselves. The wings, you know, they use the de-icer, but when it's like this, they can hardly stay on top of that. I want to show you exactly what they're dealing with. Any of these areas that were not plowed overnight have a layer of ice on top of them, just like that. So you have a layer of ice that's probably about a ½ centimeter thick. Beneath that is the snow. So we're here to cover the situation at SeaTac Airport this morning. All three runways are closed right now. No planes coming in, no planes going out. Alaska Airlines just sent a tweet not too long that air travel between Alaska, Washington, and California is canceled until at least 10 o'clock. That's almost a moot point as far as the planes are considered here at SeaTac because no planes are coming or going yet. SeaTac officials do tell us they hope to have at least one runway open here shortly. That's the word they're using. We don't know exactly how long that'll be. We have other news crews here who are also here to cover the closures. They're going to stay outside. We're going to take you inside with live equipment, show you exactly what happened with inside. So we'll be back in with you soon.
Sounds good, Jeff. Cairo 7 meteorologist Morgan Palmer joins us live in Seattle's Magnolia neighborhood with how icy it is there. Morgan?
Well, the freezing rain and sleet, Julie, have been coming down pretty good over the past hour and a half. We've had some bursts that have been very, very heavy, and that can coat power lines and coat trees and also coat the roads. Now, I'm here at 20th and Dravis in Magnolia, and the roads are extremely icy. In fact, so icy that some sledders are already out here. Now, I want to talk to David real fast. You're out here before dawn. You've already been down Dravis. How icy is it?
It's icy. It's fast. It's slick. It's just the way you want it.
It's just the way you want it, but you say that you wouldn't drive down this.
I wouldn't drive down this, and I wouldn't come down this in anything other than a runner sled, something that was steerable. I wouldn't dare come down this on a piece of plastic.
We're going to be out here in Magnolia watching the streets. We see cars getting around, and some who are brave enough drivers to come down Dravis. We'll be along in the next half hour through our continuing coverage of how it looks here in Seattle.
Well, more snow fell in the mountains overnight while we're talking about ice down here in the lowlands. These pictures from the DOT's cameras at Snoqualmie Pass. Right now, traction tires are required there and at Stevens and White Passes as well. Chains are required for the big rigs at all three passes.
Do want to let you know that most of the Western Washington school districts have decided to not have class today. We're not going to waste a lot of time going through those because we expect at this point that you already know that. No school today for, again, most of schools. Yesterday's snow caused an evacuation of the swimming pool building at Pacific Lutheran University in Parkland. They cleared everybody out when cracks appeared in the ceiling. Engineers blame heavy snow on the roof, but say the building is not in danger of collapsing.
Let's go back out to Cairo 7 Eyewitness News reporter Michelle Millman driving through Woodinville with a live report on what's happening there. Michelle?
We've just stopped, actually, Julie. We came up Woodinville-Duval Road from downtown Woodinville. I took a right on Avondale, and sure enough, Just a ways down that road near Bear Creek Road, we saw at least 2 dark intersections like this. You can see the lights are not working. And then we saw this guy's caution lights on the back, so we decided to follow him. He stopped here, so we stopped behind him safely with our hazards on here on the side of the road, and he is shining his spotlight up into that power line area. So we're not sure if he has found the problem, because a little further back he was also shining his light up along the power lines here along Avondale Road. We're efforting back at the station, and I'm doing as much as I can from out here to try to find out from Puget Sound Energy just how many people we're talking about are without power. But you know, if you are seeing this morning, obviously you have power if you're watching on your TV, and you do come across an area like this, it's always good to remind you should treat these intersections like a 4-way stop. And I cannot reiterate that enough this morning, especially with these conditions. We are really seeing a lot of sleet and kind of an ice mixture now that's coming down on our windshield. The power line guy is now getting out of his rig. I'm not sure if he's coming back to us to ask what we're doing, but we'll see if he's going to talk at all, and I'll be back to you in just a little bit. Okay, Chris, Julie?
All right, Michelle, we were sort of afraid this was going to start to happen as this ice starts to coat the power lines, coating trees, causing trees to fall down. We're just getting word from Tacoma Power, 24,000 people right now in the Tacoma area do not have the lights on.
Also, some scattered outages throughout western Washington, including the Briar area this morning up by Linwood. Let's get to the roads now with Jenny Hogan. And Jenny, you know the issue is a lot of this ice and sleet and trees falling as well.
Yes, and with power outages and it being dark out in places too, and the icy conditions makes it even more dangerous. Julie and Chris, of course, treat any stop signs that are out as a 4-way stop. What is this person doing? Look at this in the middle of your screen. There's someone walking here at State Route 202. Not a very good idea on these conditions. Down too, just got a viewer say that they were in their yard, Sam, and they had a bunch of trees down.
And that's because of the freezing rain, Jenny. That ice coats the tree limbs on top of the snow already on them, weights them down. We see the branches out there, and that's what we've seen power outages as well. Neighborhood temperatures in more detail in less than 10 minutes.
6:42 is the time. Cairo 7, the place to be for our Stormwatch coverage. Look at the sheen here at State Route 161. This is the story around western Washington. Icy roads. We'll continue to show you the icy roads, all of the spinouts and truck issues we're seeing, and more when we come back.
We're back at 6:45, Cairo 7 on breaking news. All runways at SeaTac Airport are closed. Cairo 7 Eyewitness News reporter Jeff Du Bois now inside the airport getting more details. Jeff?
Chris, we're starting to hear from some customers, some people who are supposed to be flying out of SeaTac today who are getting pretty frustrated. You look up at the board here, you're starting to see a lot of canceled flights. Some say that they're delayed still at this point, but what we're hearing from SeaTac is all 3 runways are currently still closed as they try and get the ice off those runways. Canceled, canceled, canceled. That is the situation for many people, including this gentleman right here who just a moment ago said his flight was canceled to Cabo. What did you hear? And did you know that there was going to be a problem today?
You know, there was always that possibility, but we didn't know it was going to be canceled until we got here. When we got here, it said the flight was on time, and then it just got canceled, and there's nothing out today, so be it.
So are you're still going to stand in line? Are you going to check into your flight, or are you going to try and talk to someone and figure out what to do next?
Try an alternative plan to get down to the sun, but who knows?
Kind of ironic that you were going to a sunny place when we're dealing with all this mess here, isn't it?
Indeed it is. Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
And we're hearing that type of thing from all these people who are trying to get to wherever their destination is. Maybe it wasn't a sunny a destination like Cabo, but we're seeing some frowns on people's faces this morning. We talked to some people here who are heading from Seattle to Las Vegas today, and they're now trying to figure out exactly what they're going to do. Let's talk to them real quick as well. They were scheduled to head out last night. This lovely lady was telling me, you guys were on a flight last night and you were bumped to this morning. Now what?
And now it's been canceled because of the freezing rain on the runways, and they are just canceling everything for this morning as far as we know.
So how are you feeling?
A little frustrated. Good.
And so what's the plan now? Are you gonna go through security and get up to the gates? Do you wait? Do you call, ask for help?
I don't know. We're on tentatively a 1 o'clock flight. There's no guarantee it's going, so we're just trying to decide. We can't even check our bags back in yet because you can only do that 4 hours before the flight, so we're still stuck with our luggage and wondering what we're going to do.
So have they told you what you should do? I mean, it's really a waiting game. They probably don't know when the runways are going to be reopened. SeaTac tells us they're trying to get at least one runway open as soon as they can, but meanwhile you have all these passengers that are backing up at the airport.
That's right. So we haven't been told what to do. It's sort of everybody's on their own.
Okay. Well, good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
We're going to stay inside the security area here at SeaTac Airport and see. We're also going to talk to airport officials and see if they have the latest information about when they'll be able to open at least one of those runways. So we'll check back in with you, Julie, Chris, real soon.
It'll be a long day at SeaTac Airport. Okay, well, want to let you know there are a number of power outages out there. Puget Sound Energy telling us they have 19,000 outages, the majority in Thurston, Pierce, and South King County.
We're also hearing from Tacoma Public Utilities that 24,000 people don't have power. So we are seeing some major power outages all across Western Washington. The of ice gets on the tree branches, trees fall down, power lines go down. It's becoming a bad situation outside right now.
The sleet is on the roads as well, and Jenny, you are seeing evidence of that with accidents.
Yes, several accidents out there, Chris and Julie. This one from overnight, a semi that rolled over 405 northbound on-ramp to I-5 northbound. This is the commuters here. It looks like they are making progress. They've hooked up those tow trucks to it, and it looks like they're trying to yank that out of there right now. Let's get over to Sam to find out about these conditions. Hi, Sam.
Jenny, good morning. As we head across the western Washington region. Now, you mentioned that snow in Everett. The farther north you are, you're likely seeing snow. But as you creep farther south through Seattle, through Tacoma and Olympia, it's freezing rain. Mid-40s for the weekend. Rain and wind continue. We keep it unsettled into early next week. We're all over this ice storm. Continuing updates as we continue our coverage.
Cairo 7 is a place to be for Stormwatch coverage in western Washington. Look here, another incident we're tracking on I-405 Northeast 30th Street. Got multiple news crews out and about right now as this snow event from yesterday turns into a major ice blast today. Cairo 7 on Stormwatch, planning to stay there as long as we need to this morning to keep you updated on this. .54 is the time. Live pictures of Tacoma where you see some lights on, but that is not the case for a lot of folks. Chris Gleason with Tacoma Power is now live on the phone. Chris, at last point we heard 24,000 people. Is that still accurate?
That still is accurate. We had one of our transmission lines go down, are the lines that carry power in from our hydro project, and so when one of those is out, it affects a lot of people. I will sure do that.
Okay, thanks so much.
Also, 19,000 Puget Sound Energy customers without power this morning. That number was much larger. It's now down to 19,000 people. Cairo 7's Michelle Millman is out on the roads.
That's right, Michelle. How are things looking in Woodinville now? We know you've seen quite a lot this morning since you hit the roads at 4 a.m.
People who were out of power, who are still out of power. More and more headlights heading this way as people are waking up and deciding that they want to go to work today. So, Chris, Julie, back to you.
Okay, Michelle. Well, Cairo 7 Eyewitness News reporter Rick Price and his photographer have logged hundreds of miles over the last couple of days. I saw lots of snow yesterday in Olympia. Rick's back there now live with the latest there.
Now back in this semi-accident that's blocking I-5 to the northbound. Let me step out of the way. We'd hope to have some good news for you. For the meantime, this closed. I-5 northbound still closed. UPS semi-truck that has jackknifed here, and that, and make sure we let you know just as soon as they open things up. Chris, Julie?
It is now the 7 o'clock hour. Cairo 7 on Stormwatch again, extending our coverage because of a massive ice storm that has now crippled parts of the Puget Sound. Do want to let you know if you are looking for CBS programming, you can catch that on our digital channel 7.2, which is Comcast Channel 117.
This morning, Cairo 7 broke the story that all runways have been closed at SeaTac Airport. No flights coming in this morning, no flights going out. We have Charla Skeggs from SeaTac on the phone to give us the latest. Charla, I know you guys were hoping to get one of those runways open. What's the status?
Right now, we do have one runway that's in acceptable condition. So that's the good news. We're working very hard to make that happen as quickly as possible.
All right, we'll be in constant contact with you. Charlotte Skaggs, SeaTac Airport. The headline from that is they do have one runway right now in acceptable condition. However, the taxiways aren't open yet, so they've still got their work cut out for them, hoping to get some flights coming in, going out within around the next 45 minutes. Now let's get to Cairo 7 Eyewitness News reporter Jeff Du Bois, who is inside the airport talking to customers who are probably a little frustrated. Jeff?
Chris, just imagine trying to Imagine all this situation, trying to manage all those flights that will eventually be able to get out or come in on that one runway and taxiway. These are folks from Alaska Airlines passengers who are now waiting to talk to some agents here to figure out exactly what they're going to do. We've seen lots of canceled flights on the board, delayed flights, people in limbo because they don't know when or where they're going to be able to go. In fact, we were just talking to a woman by the name of Lynette here who's from Kelowna. They flew in last night from Mesa, Arizona. Lynette, you were on the plane for a while last night, and what are you being told now?
We were told now that the runway was shut down and that we don't know the determination of our flight.
And so you were on the runway last night for a few hours, you said?
About 3.5.
And what was the situation there? There was a connecting flight back to BC, right?
Correct. And they were de-icing the plane, making sure that it was safe enough to go. And then once they were ready to pull it along, that's when they realized that the brake lines or the brakes on the plane itself were locked up. So they tried to de-ice that, and that didn't work. Half an hour later, they let us go.
And so here you are, your flight now finally from SeaTac to British Columbia. We can move forward in line if you want to move a little bit. It's at 10:45, but what are they saying about that flight?
They don't know the status of that. They have no idea the status of that flight at this point.
And so here you are, you're going to go talk to an agent, and is it frustrating? I can't imagine it being anything but frustrating.
It's frustrating, but what can you do? Old man nature, he's hit us now. We've had a mild winter, and old man nature has hit us now. The agents that I have talked to last night, the workers on the plane themselves, they were all wonderful. They tried to do the best to keep us happy. We're doing the best that we can to try and stay positive, too.
All right, well, good luck to you, Lynette. To Kelowna, BC. Let's look this way too. All the people who don't have to check bags, usually you can check in. You can go ahead and pass. It's okay. They can just check in right here. It's starting to back up a little bit here because everyone's just trying to figure out what to do, whether their flight has been canceled, is delayed. Everyone's really in limbo right now. The good news, as you just heard from SeaTac Airport officials, they have one runway that has been cleared and ready to go. They're trying to get a taxiway cleared as well so that some of these people can get on their way. But just imagine hundreds and hundreds of flights that usually use two runways in and out of Seattle now will have to use one runway, both coming in and going out. So prioritizing those flights would be a nightmare for these folks. Luckily, at least the passenger we talked to, Lynette, has a pretty good attitude about it and is hopeful that she'll get home to Kelowna, BC. Isn't beside herself with the frustration yet, but I would imagine there are some people who are in that very situation. We're going to look for more people to talk to and keep up with the airport officials, let you know exactly when that taxiway is ready to go and hopefully when they can open that second runway as well. Julie, Chris, back to you.
Jeff, also important to note that for folks who are perhaps on the fence of whether or not to Alaska Airlines passengers in a way about whether or not they're on the fence to go out to the airport, they can rebook and get on a later flight for no charge. So perhaps seeing those long lines behind you and those frustrated passengers, people will just decide to go ahead and stay home and rebook for free. Jeff, we'll talk to you in a little bit.
As Jeff mentioned, no flights coming in or out of SeaTac Airport still, but just getting to the airport can be tough. Jenny Hogan has a look at on the roads, not just the airport, but Western Washington.
Yes, and tough not just for cars, but also these buses that are chained up. I want to show you this camera. This is in the University District as you get onto the express lanes to I-5. A Metro bus has stalled right behind where the plow truck is about to just go and plow over the express lane on-ramp here. Sam, I want to get over to you. Got a report from a viewer in Puyallup. She's hearing snapping everywhere from trees around her.
Yeah, and that makes sense, Jenny. That ice is heavy. It's coating the tree branches on top of the snow that fell on the trees as well. That weight breaking branches out there, causing power outages, and this is a full-on ice storm that's widespread this morning. I'm going to take a closer look with future clouds and radar and really time out that changeover to rain for the afternoon. We'll check that out when we continue our coverage here in the Weather Department.
All right, Sam, we did go on the air early this morning at 4 o'clock, and since that time we've been talking about some of the dangers that the Metro bus drivers face when they're out and about. And for Metro bus passengers, you should expect some delays. And right here is a case in point. We've got a Metro bus that is not moving in the U District.
That's right. Take a look at this. You can see that that bus is stuck. We did have some reports that it may have hit something, and that's why it's stuck. We're working to get more information on that. And Jenny Hogan, I know you've been checking on this as well. What have you heard?
Yes, we've seen that the truck there drop some sand over here, so definitely it's having issues trying to get up onto the ramp. This is in the University District, so weight down on flat surface streets.
All right, Jenny, we know you're going to continue to watch this. Access to several hundred DOT cameras as we watch for problems out there on the roads. Another thing that we're tracking this morning in our Cairo 7 extended Stormwatch coverage is power outages. We're talking major power outages, folks. Tacoma Public Utilities reporting 24,000 customers without power. Puget Sound Energy currently with 19,000 customers without power. Andy Wappler is now live on the phone to sort of update us on the progress that Puget Sound Energy crews are having to try and restore power. Andy?
Well, Chris, we've made a lot of progress today. Unfortunately, the weather is causing a whole new wrinkle that is causing brand new damage here this morning. As this incredible ice storm unfolds, they can be a resource to get you connected with the right place to go if you do not have power.
Andy, well, we will definitely be in contact with you and the crews of Puget Sound Energy. I don't think anybody out there could be critical of the work that those power line crews are doing. Everyone probably just very frustrated with the weather situation as it is outside. We've got strange ice falling right now. It is coating tree branches. It is causing a number of power outages. Tacoma Public Utilities reporting around 24,000 people without power, and we've got scattered outages from different municipalities and areas around western Washington. Seattle City Light was able to restore a lot of power outages that they had been working overnight in areas like Shoreline, but there is much work to be done yet as far as restoring power. Now, the good news is when we talk to Sam Argier and we get the latest on his forecast is we are going to see things eventually start to warm up. So we don't think this freezing rain phenomenon that's happening is going to be something that's going to be happening throughout the day today.
Okay, let's go out to Michelle Millman, who has been driving on those icy roads this morning, and she's checking out things in Woodinville for us. Michelle?
I started off heading up to that semi that had flipped over in the Linwood area, and when we stepped out of the car that we're in, we're driving around in a Ford Explorer. I'm stopped in a parking lot right now. So we will make our way south from here to the Factoria area, and we'll talk to you along the way as we go. Chris, Julie?
All right, Michelle, thank you. The time right now is 7:25. We'll talk to Michelle again in a little bit. We'll get some more updates from her out on the roads. If you're just joining us, Cairo 7 on Stormwatch coverage right now. We got a lot of things happening outside. SeaTac Airport, something that happens or happens early. All the runways were shut down. A short time ago, they were able to get one of those runways open, but they can't get the taxiways open. So we're continuing to talk to SeaTac Airport to find out the latest on what's happening there.
This has really turned into an ice storm situation. 70,000 people are without power in Puget Sound Energy service area, and we just talked to Andy Wappler, who told us that some of those people might not power back until Saturday. Ice is also on the roads this morning.
Yeah, Jenny, we haven't even gotten into the schools are canceled across western Washington, and the reason why is right behind you.
Exactly. Look at this, and we just told you about a Metro bus that really struggled at this point, and they had to come through with DOT crews, and they put sand down there. Let's get over to Sam now to find if this is going to melt.
Well, Jenny, it'll melt off eventually, but over the next few hours, it's going to be bad. We're essentially on a now. We have cold, dry air invading from the north, warm, moist air.